Okay, now we are ready for the data table portion of our lab report. So we're going to need a lot of information over here to know what data we want to collect over here. Alright, so part A, we're going to choose a gummy bear, and we're going to measure the gummy bear and fill in the information below and record it in a data chart. So the measurements we're going to need, it looks like we will need the length, let's highlight that. We'll need the width, let's highlight that. Measure the thickness, highlight that. And calculate the volume, okay, oops. So we'll need volume. Measure the mass, okay, so we're going to need a file for measuring the mass. And calculate the density. Okay, so that, several things. So, part A, we're choosing a gummy bear, and we're taking the length, width, thickness, volume, mass, and density. And if we scroll down a little ways here, we'll see on day 2, we're going to remove the gummy bear from the water and then repeat the measurements from above. So that's why it's always a good idea to read all the way through your lab that you're doing before you start writing anything down, because that way, you know, maybe you would just have a data table with that, and you're going to have to go back and add to your data table. So we've got day 1 and day 2, length, width, thickness, volume, mass, density. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and insert a table. So our table's got, add a table. We're going to have 2 days, but we need, ooh, escape out of that. How did I get down there? Okay, we'll do our table here. So we've got 1, 2 days, but we need a title section as well. So 3, and then let's see, length, width, thickness, volume, mass, density. That's 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's try a table like that. Okay, so we come down here, and we're going to do, kind of fill in things that we're going to be looking for. So day, length, width, thickness, calculate the volume, the mass, and the density. Okay, so day, so we'll have day 1 measurements, and we'll fill those in, and then we'll have day 2 measurements, and we'll fill those in. Not too bad. That's a pretty simple chart, and these are kind of generally what your data tables are going to look like. Eventually you'll start to graph and chart these things, and this is an easy way to just kind of record and keep your information all compiled into one. So really that is actually it for the data table. And then there's a few things down here. You'll notice on the left hand side here that there's questions, and there's going to be questions with pretty much every lab that we do. And these questions can kind of help guide you in the last parts of your lab report. So the next part of our lab report is going to be the analysis. And an analysis is really just kind of recounting what happened. So an analysis would be, for example, here, my gummy bear on day 1 had this amount of volume, and on day 2 it had this amount of volume. It's really an objective way of looking at what happened during the lab. So I'm going to write that here. Objective means you don't have any opinions or anything like that. You're just telling it like it is. What took place during the lab? What did you observe? And then you'll notice somewhere here the questions. Was your hypothesis correct? Why or why not? That doesn't really sound objective. I mean, it could kind of be objective, but I think we could maybe put that in our next section, which is going to be our conclusion. Which change is greater, volume or mass? And explain. So that would be something that you could put in analysis. Was there a change in density? That would probably be something you put in analysis, but the why would probably be something that you'd put in a conclusion. And then how do your results compare to those of your classmates? That might be able to be put in analysis as well, but probably since you'll be comparing after all this, I would put that in conclusion as well. All right, and your conclusion is just kind of putting everything all together. Answering all your questions, kind of answering why your hypothesis was correct, why or why not. All those sort of things will go in your conclusion. Okay, so here we go. Put it all together. Results and analysis. Answer was your hypothesis correct or incorrect, and why? So again, all these questions over here can kind of help answer those last two parts, the analysis and conclusion. Was your hypothesis correct? Why or why not? Explaining why density did or did not change, and kind of comparing to your class. So that's pretty much it. That's what all of your labs are going to look like. I'm going to keep this up online so you guys can always refer back to it if you can't remember all these steps. And then we'll go over this several more times before I send you off on your own and make you do it all by yourself. All right, there you go.